There's no way around it. Parenting is demanding. But there are certain times that we all go through as parents when the demands are greater than we can handle on our own. In today's episode, we're talking about the one parenting tool we've realized that we absolutely cannot live without.
This is Parents Making Time, the show that helps busy parents put family first without burning out.
We're Anthony and Jennifer Kraker. We don't just give parenting tips, we help you become the parent you want to be. Now, several years ago when our kids were small, I got sick. And I don't really get sick, but I was sick in bed for 2 weeks. And it was so bad that I couldn't even walk my own daughters to the bus stop. Anthony at the time was traveling a lot, and most weeks he wasn't home. And I was really stuck. So I sent my girls, they were kindergarten and second grade, to walk to the bus stop alone. And a neighbor happened to be walking by, and so I asked her if she could look after the girls at the bus stop. She did, and after the bus came, she stopped by to see what else I needed. Over the next 2 weeks, friends brought me groceries, came by, did my laundry, brought me meals, and they checked on me. It was a lifesaver for me.
And it made me feel better knowing that you were in good hands since I was out of town with work. That support system was really, really key in that moment, but also it's become key throughout our lives as parents.
Right. So Anthony and I don't live near any family. We're about, I guess now we've had one of my brothers move close, so about 4 hours to the nearest family member. But our day-to-day lives, we don't have a family support system here, but we have created one through friends, through our church, through other parents that we've met at our children's events. It just really has saved us in so many things.
We used to be close to family, and that was nice when our kids were really young. When I was going to law school in Oklahoma, we were 5 minutes away from your parents. My mom lived 3 hours away or so in Dallas, so we could see her somewhat regularly and she could come up to see us. But then in 2009, we made a big decision to move out to Florida for a job opportunity, and nobody was here. That was our family.
It was scary because we were leaving our support system. And so we could have made the mistake of just keeping to ourselves, not making that support system. That would have been a huge mistake. Like, we wouldn't have been able to stay here for as long as we have. We've been here over 15 years now. We've created a family outside of blood.
And I think a lot of times parents have this mentality of they need to be able to do everything on their own, right? We want to be self-reliant. We want to take care of our families. We don't want to have to burden other people. There's this idea that you're supposed to be able to do it on your own. And self-reliance is good. I think it's something to strive for. But the reality is there are going to be times where you just can't do it on your own, especially as a parent. And even more so for single parents, right? I mean, that's really challenging.
Yeah, I would even say being self-reliant includes asking for help when you need it. I think one of the issues is not asking for help when we need it. We come up with every reason not to ask for help.
Yeah, we don't want to be a burden on others. But the reality is that most people are willing to help out if they have a friend or family member who's in need.
For sure. And there's lots of consequences for not having that support system in place. And we should say we understand, you aren't listening to this episode and you're like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to get a support system. It takes time. It takes effort.
Right.
But
this isn't an overnight solution.
For sure. But the effort and the goal of that, and it's worth it. It's worth that effort that it takes. Because one of the biggest things that I see, and I felt myself at times in parenting, is loneliness as a parent. We think no one else understands what we're going through. We just feel lonely. We feel unseen. And when you let yourself and open yourself up to a support group, that really can go away. You can feel more seen. You can feel less lonely and less exhausted because you've had somebody else that supports you, that hears you, that listens and steps in when you just really need help.
And also, if you don't develop a support system as a parent, inevitably your kids are going to miss out on things. They're going to miss out on events or activities because of you, right? We talked an episode or two ago about a time where we had all three of our kids had something that they had to be at, and we needed a friend to step in and go with our oldest daughter to her activity so that I could take our youngest daughter and you could take our son to the activities that they had. Had we not had a support support system, one of the kids would have had to miss out on something. So there are many reasons that you should have a support system, but first and foremost, it's so that you don't feel that loneliness and you don't feel that exhaustion. You need help to help you sustain the everyday challenges of parenting.
So how do you find this support system? Where do you look? Your support system's all around you. Meet your neighbors, talk to the parents at your kids' school or events, meet the parents of your kids' friends, go to church, create a community there. Maybe you do have family around you. That is definitely a place to start. Identify your support group, be willing to call on them when needed, but also don't abuse it. Because if you start abusing your support system and asking them to do things you could do for yourself, you're going to burn them out real fast.
And as you develop those relationships, and you feel comfortable that it's somebody that you can entrust your kid to, if it's taking your kid somewhere when you can't or something like that, have that conversation with them. Say, hey, every so often I need help with this. Would you be willing to help me out on occasion?
Yeah. Can I put your name down as my emergency contact on my kid's form at school?
Right.
That's an easy question, right? And I think it's not just about stepping in when we need them to take a child somewhere. For me, one of the ways I reach out to my support system is I say, hey, friend, do you want to go on a walk with me? Because I'm a talker. I like to talk through my feelings and emotions, and a nice 3-mile walk with a friend really helps me get exercise, get outside, and feel supported at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That the support system is more than just doing things for you or getting your kids to and from someplace. It's an emotional support as well.
Right. It's supporting you through the difficulties of parenting, because parenting is not easy.
Yeah. And this doesn't have to be difficult, right? This isn't some big project that you need to feel overwhelmed by. This is just something you need to start being intentional about. If you feel like you don't have a support system, or you feel like you don't have a strong enough support system, start identifying those key people in your life that can be there to help you, whether it's bringing you food when you're sick, taking your kids somewhere, or even just being an emotional support, going on a walk like Jen does. Identify those people and develop those relationships little by little. When we moved here in 2009, we didn't have a huge support system, but we got involved in our church. We met people, we made friends, and over time, we were able to grow, I think, a really strong support system. And that's been tremendously helpful. And we've reciprocated too, right? I mean, we've had friends that have had needs with their kids, and we've been able to step in and help them. It's a reciprocal thing.
It's being a friend. You are going to be a friend for someone else, and hopefully you can count on them to be a friend for you. It's totally a two-way street.
And Jen mentioned a minute ago about having emotional support. I'm typically a pretty private guy. I mean, I talk to Jennifer about my feelings, but outside of that, I don't typically share my deepest concerns with other people. I'm just naturally kind of a private person. But there was a time a couple of years back where we were going through a difficult time with our youngest, and he was just going through some really challenging developmental changes in his life, and there was a lot of tension in our home because of some of the struggles that he was having. And I got to a point where I needed emotional support beyond just talking to Jennifer. And that's pretty rare for me, but I decided that I would open up and share with my mom and my sisters, and also a couple of friends. And that really helped me get through a challenging parent time with our youngest. Just being able to talk and share. It wasn't that they had some amazing wisdom or insight to magically solve my problem. That wasn't possible, but they were there, they listened, and I felt supported and I felt heard. And even though that's not something that I normally need in that particular moment of time, I did need it, and it was really helpful. And my mom and my sisters live in Texas, so they're far away. So having that support system, at least from an emotional standpoint, doesn't mean that you have to have people physically close to you. You can have a support system outside of your neighbors and the people that live around you.
For sure. And for me, that support system, that emotional support is so important. And one of the things I always say is I'm really an open book. I'm very open. I like to share. I like to talk, but that's because it helps me to find other people who understand, who want to help, who just can be that listening ear. My problems seem to become smaller when I go to my support group and share with them and let them help carry that load. And I really appreciate that. So I really think this is the one tool that every parent needs, is to find that support system and use it.
So start today. Don't have a support system. Start working on it. If you do have a support system and you feel like it's not strong enough, look at ways that you can strengthen that support system. It's going to be worth it.
For sure.
You know, as we've been talking about this today, it reminds me that one of the reasons we started this podcast is because we know how busy life gets as a parent. Sometimes it just feels impossible to slow down and create those big memorable moments. That's why we created a free guide called 30-Second Micro Moments of Intention with Your Kids. It's filled with quick, simple ideas that you can do anytime in 30 seconds or less to strengthen your connection with your kids without adding more to your plate. Now, some of these ideas may seem basic or like no-brainers, but when you do them intentionally, they can make a real difference in your relationship with your child. So just go to parentsmakingtime.com/free resource, enter your email, and we'll send it right to you. You can print it out to keep it where you'll see it, or save it on your phone to reference whenever you need a little inspiration, so that you can start building lasting memories one micro moment at a time.
So if you like what you heard today, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, wherever you're listening to us. Leave a rating, leave a review, and bonus points if you share this episode with a friend.
And in our next episode, we're going to have a guest on the show. I'm really excited about this. We're going to go back to a topic from a few episodes ago where we talked about how we can get 10 hours more a week with our kids by significantly lowering our time on social media. And our guest is an expert on use of digital devices, and she's going to be sharing specific, easy to implement strategies for minimizing use of our devices. This expert is literally writing the book on how to stop scrolling.
Awesome. I can't wait. Until next time, make time to become the parent you want to be.